Hello and welcome to Functions 2.2 Interpreting Graphs. Okay, so today we're gonna answer questions about graphs that relate to people, and these people are gonna be following a certain, I guess, story that is gonna be actually right on this page. So let me just read it. Yeah, just get started. So the following students are all walking from their homes to the school bus stop, and each graph below, well, not really below because it's on the next slide, represents a student's remaining distance to the bus stop as a function of time. Okay, so that statement is kind of important because it kind of pretty much tells you exactly what the label of the x-axis and the y-axis are. So the y-axis is going to be, as you'll see very shortly, the remaining distance to the bus stop. Okay, and the x-axis is going to be time. Okay, so, and it says beginning when he or she left home. Okay, so each graph is based on the same time frame and uses the same distance units, but models a different story. Okay, and the bus leaves the bus stop at the end of the time frame depicted. So when the graph reaches the end of the x-axis and it can't go any farther because the x-axis has pretty much run out basically, then the bus leaves. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide and let's see what our first question is. So, who lives closest to the bus stop? So, because the y-axis is labeled as distance from the bus stop, I guess you can say, yeah? Then, as far as who lives the closest, you want to look for a graph that is close to the x-axis or not very high, basically. So if the graph is high, that means that the person lives far away from the bus stop. If the graph is starting off on the lower side, right, low down to the x-axis, then that's going to pretty much mean that the person lives close to the bus stop. So which graph starts off the lowest? Yeah, and you're going to look around, you might say, oh yeah, I think Leilani's graph starts lowest. Yeah, Kiani's graph starts pretty low, but if you just kind of eyeball it, then yeah, I think Leilani's graph is much lower than everybody else. So the correct answer should be Leilani. So let's see if my guess is correct. Yep, Leilani is correct, and we want to make sure we also explain our answer. So I kind of explained part of it as well already, yeah, where we're looking for a graph that starts low in height. Yeah, so the starting point of a graph is the lowest in height. So, all right, there you go. All right, let's look at number 3. Okay, so who missed the bus? I guess that person didn't keep track of time and they missed the bus. So keep in mind now, when I read the story earlier, I said the bus leaves when we run out of x-axis. Yeah, so if somebody is not touching the x-axis, which means pretty much when you arrived at the bus stop, then that means that person didn't get to the bus stop, and if time runs out, then the bus leaves and they're not at the bus stop, so therefore they get left behind. Okay, so does any of the graphs actually not touch the x-axis? Because they don't touch, that means that they didn't reach the bus stop. Yeah, so look for a characteristic that shows us the graph, yeah, their graph doesn't reach the x-axis. And is there anybody that has that kind of characteristic? And you're going to say, yeah, I think TRA doesn't touch the x-axis, meaning that TRA doesn't arrive at the bus stop. So we're going to put our guess in TRA, and let's uncover this box. Let's see if it is correct. Yep, it is TRA, and is the reason pretty much the same as what I just stated. So it says, her graph does not reach the x-axis, which represents getting or arriving to the bus stop. So yeah, we guessed correctly and for the right reason. Okay? All right, let's look at our next problem. So who arrived at the bus stop first? Okay, so basically, if they're arriving at the bus stop, their graph is going to touch the x-axis. So that would pretty much say TRA is out of the running, because we want to take into account people that arrive at the bus stop. Yeah, and TRA doesn't arrive, so we can just pretty much take her out of consideration. So who arrives first, though? Yeah, so who makes contact with the x-axis the earliest? Yeah, and it looks like Keone makes contact at the very end when the bus is about to leave, so he just makes it just in time. So does Leilani. It looks like she just makes it just in time. Hoku as well. Kiani as well. Kavika looks like the only one that touches the x-axis, and the graph becomes flat at that point because Kavika has to wait until the bus leaves, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? First in line, you get to sit down, guarantee, or hopefully you get to sit down, but yeah. Okay. So I think Kavika would be the one to guess. Let's uncover this box and let's see if I'm correct. Yep, it is Kavika, and is it for the same reason that I stated? So the graph makes contact with the x-axis the earliest amongst the 6 people. Yeah, so kind of sort of what I said, right? And I think that's the last problem. So the rest of the ones that were not covered, so that would be, I think, 2, 4, yeah, 2, 4, 6, and 7. That's your homework. Okay, good luck. Bye-bye.